What is it, do you think, about your game that has people just can't wait to see you on the professional level?
I think it's just the style of basketball that I play. To be honest, I don't get nervous for games because I just know this is fun.
Caitlin Clark sat at the platform, prepared for the customary post-game questions, just moments after putting on another incredible show on the court. But something mentioned by an experienced reporter totally upended the plan. She was also rendered speechless for the first time in her recent memory. Why is everyone still discussing what was said? Come along as we dissect a reporter's claim that rendered Caitlin Clark unable to speak. Media conference following the game. The Indiana Fever just defeated the Las Vegas Aces 94-87 at Gainbridge Fieldhouse in a crucial victory. With what many analysts referred to as her best all-around game as a pro, Caitlin Clark set the standard. Her metrics thus far resembled something from a video game. In 38 minutes of play, he finished with 28 points on 11 of 18 shooting, including 6 three-pointers out of 10, 12 assists, 5 rebounds, and just 2 turnovers. With a few weeks remaining in the regular season, the victory put Indiana in the running for the playoffs. Cameras clicked, reporters scrawled notes, and Clark responded to queries with her trademark cool confidence and fierce passion as the press room hummed with excitement. Holly Rowe of ESPN recently inquired about Clark's developing relationship with teammate Aaliyah Boston, particularly their collaboration on the pick and roll that allowed them score 18 points in the paint against Las Vegas. "The trust between us is really growing," Clark stated with a smile. "It felt like we were reading each other's minds tonight, but Aaliyah has been understanding as I adapted to the timing at this level." At that moment, she noticed Stephen A. Smith seated in the front row. Throughout the entire 15-minute press conference, he had remained remarkably silent. Unusual for someone who dominates sports talk shows with his large personality and his boisterous, fervent first-take opinions. "Stephen A., go ahead," Clark urged, gesturing to the renowned pundit who had covered everything from LeBron James to Michael Jordan over his lengthy career. What question did Stephen pose? Let's investigate. The unexpected query. Smith, putting aside his trademark large personality and theatrical movements that had established him as one of the most recognizable voices in sports media, the shocking question slowly emerged. As he started to speak, his expression became more solemn than normal, almost reflective. The room's atmosphere was altered by his steady, quiet speech. It didn't seem like another post-game interview anymore. There was something more profound going on. "I've been doing this job for more than 30 years, he told Caitlin. "Thousands of athletes from all of the major sports have spoken with me. I've witnessed both top teams and bottom teams. I've spoken with athletes and legends that nobody can recall. I've seen veterans fall short of expectations and rookies who shocked everyone. However, I have a question for you. Since I started truly paying attention to you this season, I've been thinking about something." There was utter silence in the room. In the middle of a sentence, reporters stopped typing. Operators of cameras leaned in. At the back of the room, even the media personnel from Fever, who were about to adjourn the session, froze. Smith went on to say, "I've based my entire professional life on being truthful, even if it means being critical. That's what I do. I am a part of it. When I believe an athlete isn't performing up to par, I don't hold back. And I don't apologize for my high expectations, but I've had to think a lot this season after seeing how you've managed the demands, the pressure, and the transition from college to the professional ranks." He stopped and rubbed his face in a manner that didn't seem appropriate for a performance. It was genuinely emotional. "There's something I should have said a long time ago, and honestly, I owe you an apology." He said, "I have a question. How do you maintain your composure and professionalism in the face of unfair treatment by others, including myself? Regarding your path to the professional level, I've been too critical, too eager to pass judgment, and occasionally just plain incorrect. I have to be truthful with you and everyone else present. You have shown many of us to be mistaken, and you are deserving of far more than some of the remarks made, particularly those made by myself." However, what was Clark's reaction to this? Let's examine it more closely. Clark's startling response. For the first time in her career, possibly since high school, Caitlin Clark was at a loss for words. The same player who had endured the intense pressure of being the most talked about rookie in WNBA history calmed herself under the bright lights of the Final Four at Iowa and confronted boisterous, irate crowds at Michigan State was suddenly quiet. She sat with her mouth open a little before closing it again. Her hands, which had been moving with assurance during the press conference, were now motionless on the podium. She finally replied, "Wow," in a tremulous, low voice. For once, she appeared to lose the self-assurance that had seen her through so many trying times. She said, "I genuinely don't know what to say to that, Stephen. I mean, I'm at a loss for words at the moment." There was silence in the room. Everyone was aware that they were seeing something unusual, a genuine, unplanned moment in a world when media appearances are typically meticulously prepared. Nalissa Smith and Kelsey Mitchell, two of her teammates, even paused in the corridor and turned around as they were about to board the team bus. They sensed that something significant was taking place. Clark started over in an attempt to find her voice. She was obviously still feeling things. "It has been difficult at times, but you asking me that question and being willing to say what you just said means more than you probably realize. The continuous comparisons to my college statistics and the criticism. People questioned whether I was truly prepared for all of this and whether I could actually make the transition from the Big Ten to the WNBA. They also questioned whether the fanfare was excessive." She seemed to calm herself after pausing and inhaling deeply. "But what do you know? That criticism really got to me. It forced me to put in more effort at the gym. It forced me to see more movies. It forced me to demonstrate to myself as well as to others that I belong here, that I can be the kind of player and teammate this league needs, and that my supporters weren't mistaken." Then she raised her head once more, speaking more steadily. "It's quite overwhelming, but in the greatest sense, to hear you say what you just did and acknowledge that perhaps some of the early criticism wasn't fair." What does Smith disclose next, then? Let's investigate. Smith's subsequent communication. After giving a slow nod, Stephen A. Smith took what appeared to be handwritten notes out of his jacket pocket. This was obviously more than a last-minute remark. He started by saying, "There's more I need to say. And I have to say it aloud because I've made unfair and poorly considered statements on TV in the past. I need to accept responsibility for that now." Reading from his notes, he began. He spoke in a somber and regretful tone. "I claimed you were overhyped on First Take 3 months ago. I claimed that the WNBA hype was merely a ploy by the media, particularly ESPN, to increase viewership. I asserted that you have to establish yourself over the course of a season in order to be given the spotlight. Asked if you had the strength and speed necessary for professional basketball. I even asserted that success in academia did not guarantee success in the workplace. Although there is some truth to it, the way I stated it disregarded all of your prior accomplishments." Aaliyah Boston and Erica Wheeler, two of Clark's colleagues, were now standing at the rear of the room, visibly upset by what was happening in front of the whole sports media community. Smith went on, raising the volume and intensity of his voice, "But here's what I've learned since then. As a rookie, you're currently averaging 19.5 points and 8.4 assists a game. In contrast, Diana Taurasi averaged 4.4 assists and 17 points during her first campaign. Subbard recorded 5.9 assists and 14.4 points. You're ranking among the greatest rookie seasons ever based on your performance." He was staring directly into Caitlin Clark's eyes, and it didn't feel like he was acting for the cameras. However, statistics don't provide a complete picture. You may be the reason why women's basketball has received more attention than it has in decades. When your club travels, attendance at league games increases by 48%. The number of people watching Indiana Fever games on TV has tripled. Your jersey sales have increased by over 200%. But it's about you, not the money or the press. How you manage pressure, how you lead, how you acknowledge your teammates, and how you've improved the lives of those around you. Now, Smith's voice was full of emotion. "Caitlin, I was mistaken about you. I was mistaken to question your readiness. I was mistaken when I said you weren't worthy of the attention. I failed to perceive what was directly in front of me and instead evaluated you based on antiquated criteria. You're more than just an excellent beginner. You are altering the women's basketball rules. and I truly apologize to you, the league, and my viewers for that. What exactly was in the meeting room, then? Let's examine. The response from the reaction room. Even the most seasoned basketball writers had never witnessed the unexpected vibrancy of the press room. As photographers attempted to capture every moment of Caitlin Clark's emotional response, cameras flashed. As soon as they realized they were seeing a moment of great significance, other reporters started typing and recording. It was obvious that Holly Rowe, a well-known ESPN reporter who had covered many heartwarming events in her career, was moved. She continued taking notes while she used a tissue to wipe away her tears. Knowing that this was a moment of genuine significance, Adrian Wojnarowski, who is renowned for quietly delivering significant NBA news, took out his phone and started recording. Sue Bird, a special ESPN analyst present at the occasion, got up and began clapping. Her action inspired others to follow suit. The ESPN crew first joined in. Other reporters followed, along with a few employees of the Indiana Fever who had assembled to witness this unexpected event. Aaliyah Boston, a member of the Fever team, approached the podium and put a gentle hand on Clark's shoulder, a strong but quiet demonstration of support. As she stood in front of numerous reporters and cameras, still struggling to process everything, the gesture appeared to help Clark balance herself. Then she started talking.
She spoke more steadily now.
She told Stephen A., "You don't have to say sorry to me. The goal of sports media is to push us. Asking challenging questions and holding athletes accountable is meant to be difficult. What matters most to me is your willingness to reconsider your position when new information becomes available. That requires genuine fortitude and integrity."